What's going on, everybody? This is Brent Swansen from Midwest Muscle Report. I'm here with heavyweight competitor, third place from the USA's, Phil Viz. Phil, how are we doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good.
Good, great. Now, you had quite a weekend, with a great third place victory. Kind of take us through some of your emotions and kind of just like take a step back and kind of take us into your prep and how everything went for you.
Oh, well, a lot of people who follow my social media know that it was a nightmare getting into Vegas. I had missed my flight due to a storm the night before and the airport being packed, so they closed my flight early when I arrived, and there was no direct connecting flights after that, so I had 18 hours of travel on the Tuesday before the show. It drove me nuts. My cortisol went through the roof. Didn't feel too good. Started trying to carb up. Did some uncharacteristic or unplanned things, and didn't go so well. Digestion wasn't very good. So when I got in on Tuesday night, I looked like absolute hell. I hit up my buddy Matt Porter. Figured he was probably the only person on this planet who was going to be able to save me at this point. Yeah. He's known to be pretty goddamn smart. So he told me to swing over the next day. I swung over there, and the first thing he did is completely remove my carbs and jack my water up to 4 gallons. So what he had said was he initially just planned to be because he's a good friend of mine, so he planned to be a friend and give me some advice, and he didn't expect that I was going to just completely let go and do exactly what I was told, because, everybody knows how opinionated I am and that I also coach, and, I'm known for being pretty knowledgeable, but I just couldn't make those calls on myself at that point. So I followed exactly what he said to a T all the way into the show, and he peaked the ever-living shit out of me, and
I agree.
It was the best I've ever looked, by far.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. I didn't know if you were able to weigh yourself. What did you weigh before you stepped on the plane? And then right when you stepped off the plane, was there a lot of weight change, or was your weight still pretty much where it was before you started the whole process of getting to Vegas?
Well, when I got on the plane, I was probably somewhere between 229 and 233. I don't really remember exactly. I do know that Wednesday morning, I was somewhere in the 230s. I did not look very good at all. To be perfectly honest, I don't really recollect my exact weights, but it was somewhere around 230, give or take a few pounds. But my look was terrible. My skin was holding a ton of water. I wasn't really volumized or filled out at all. Even Matt told me after the fact that when I had gotten to his house, all of his clients were there and friends were there. And, so I posed in front of everybody, and he looked at me, and when I left, they were like, damn, I don't even know if he's going to make the top 10.
Really? Well, let's get to that point, too. I mean, you're very knowledgeable. You prep and train a lot of top quality competitors and everything like that. And I totally get it, like with the mindset of, having somebody else help you with your prep and do it, because a lot of times as a competitor, it's very easy to get into your own brain and overthink things. But then on the other hand, you got to find somebody who you trust enough to let go and just say, hey, I know my stuff, but you know your stuff too. And you might be seeing things, that I'm not necessarily seeing.
Yeah, well, that's the hard part for me because of my background, my educational background, and how educated I actually am. I look at most coaches, and I just analyze and break down everything they say and do, and I find errors in everything. Right. So Matt is probably one of literally 3 people that I have respect enough for. To listen to and to take my feedback and really work with it. And he did just that. My body changes drastically. Probably worse than most people have ever seen. I'm a coach's nightmare. And I told people that online, and I've said it, and I've said this and that, and people think that it's in my head about being flat and full and holding water and this and that fluctuation. And then Matt posted after the show. He's like, Phil had the most drastic change in look that I've ever seen in my entire career.
Well, it was funny because we weighed in at the same time at your first weigh-in, because you weighed in twice because you dropped down the heavies. And when I saw you, I could tell you were just kind of a mess and everything. And, we kind of talked a little bit, and you said how you were drinking 4 gallons of water and dropping the carbs. And it's just funny because, as most competitors are tapering down their water, you were jacking up your water just to try to, get, balanced out and everything. And when I saw you, weigh in, I was like, he needs to tighten up a little bit. And then when I saw you before prejudging, I was like, holy crap, this guy is spot on. He's dry. I can attest because I saw it firsthand. Your transformation from Thursday at weigh-ins to Friday at prejudging was crazy. It was crazy. And, and for me personally, it was your best look yet, and obviously it showed in the standings and, with placing third at, one of the most prominent shows in the nation.
No, dude. When I was at weigh-ins, I did not like how I looked, but I had put my faith in Matt, and I trusted him, and it did work out very, very well. I don't actually believe in the water tapering thing. I'm not a big believer on that. As soon as you start tapering water over a few days period, your body will adjust. Your body's not stupid. Your body's primary instinct is survival. Your aldosterone levels will start to shift if you start to taper water. So it needs to be an elevation and then a cut and control at some point, based on the person's individual response, which Matt was reading from me the entire time. He was watching me, gauging my response to the water, and seeing what we needed to do. And he decided to go with a sharp cutoff, and then just add in trace amounts as needed with the food to facilitate digestion and volumization a little bit, and just keep moving from there. And there's a few other little tricks in there that I wouldn't say tricks, but tactics that he had that, I agree with and I understood. And, we just saw eye to eye the entire way. He took my feedback and really, really nailed it. And, like you said, you saw me go from looking like total shit to, third in the USA.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Now let's kind of transition a little bit, from the USA's, reading on your social media, the next step for you is nationals in 13 weeks. Are you going to do some of your prep and then give it over to him? Or are you going to let him take this full prep from, now up into nationals?
Well, what we had decided we were going to do is I'm going to try to get some of my muscle back. I screwed up this prep a little bit, trying to really, really push condition and prove that I can condition, because that's always been my Achilles heel and, the black mark on my record. So I needed to come into this show peeled. I had to come into this show peeled at all costs.
Yeah, what you did.
So I overdid a few things. I wouldn't say overdid. I used a few things, like T3, for example, that I never used with my blazing metabolic rate. And it really tore my strength down, and it tore my muscle off. And my legs shrank down about 3.5 inches, and I lost a lot of my back, too. I probably lost at least 10 pounds of muscle. So I'm going to thank God for muscle memory and satellite cell activation. And I'm going to work on getting that muscle back in the next 5 weeks. And then 8 weeks out, I'm going to hand everything over to Matt. He's already seen my body peak and at its best and worst once. And, I don't think we're going to start off that bad again. So he ain't going to have that type of headache again.
Right.
But he's going to take over 8 weeks out and ensure that I'm even leaner than I was coming into the show as well, because I could get a little bit leaner. I'm not going to say I can get a lot leaner, but I could get a little bit leaner, and I could get that muscle back and come in 10 to 15 pounds heavier.
Right.
So I'm going to be coming in at super for sure.
Right. And I think there's 13 weeks from now. So, for you to put back that muscle on and come in conditioned, if you're going to start now and then you have all that time, I think you're going to come in as a super, you're going to come in dry and hard and, ready to go. And so I guess this is a shout out to all those super heavyweights. They better be ready, because if you come in with that same conditioning, 10 pounds heavier, and your structure's awesome. Your muscle bellies are always full and round, and your structure's great. So, if you, in my personal opinion, if you come in, just the same conditioning with added muscle, I think people are going to have a hard time denying you, honestly. So.
Well, I appreciate that. A lot of people, they don't realize how fast muscle can come back. Like the Leveroni thing, for example, he gets a lot of credit for having these super crazy phenomenal genetics. You know, how he grows into shows and blows up and does this and that. What they forget is he's had that muscle mass before. Right. And your body does have, science is even proven and supported. I'm not going to say proven, because none of our science is actual factual data. It's it's strongly supported theory and hypotheses, but Leveroni had that muscle mass before, so getting it back is much, much easier. People don't realize that. In 2013, getting ready for nationals, I started my prep 4 months out at a very soft 200 pounds, and 4 months later, I took 10th at nationals in the heavyweights at 222 pounds. Very, very lean, and 20 pounds heavier. So I lost a ton of fat, and I gained a ton of muscle, and came in dry, and that was in a 4-month period. And everybody's like, you put on that much muscle and cut that much time, but no, some of that was old muscle. It was already there before, and it came back quick.
I mean, and too, when you're adding the food in and supplements and everything like that, you can grow into a show. You know what I mean? And it seems like most of the top guys, actually do. End up, growing into a show. And I think that's, if you can do it that way, and I think that's the way to do it for sure. So.
No, I agree. And I've always grown into shows. I've always put on muscle mass into shows. This is probably the very first show I've ever done where I've actually lost muscle mass coming into the show. It was because of that little error that we spoke about.
Right.
So if you're eating with precision and training with precision, and you're just doing everything as optimally as possible, you got to realize you're feeding your body the best food. You're resting. You're trying to do everything perfect. Your body is operating as efficiently as it possibly can. If your mental state is in the right place and you're training intensely, you're going to grow until about 6 weeks out. So not only do I plan to get that muscle mass back that I had lost, I plan to probably get a little bit more, maybe a pound, maybe 2 pounds, who knows? But I will definitely get back all the muscle mass that I lost, and I'll even send you some pictures to show you the comparison of what I actually lost, because people know I'm crazy and neurotic. So I had pictures when my legs were 31.75 inches, and I had pictures of when my legs were at 30. And then on stage at the USA, they were 28 and a half. And yes, I'm neurotic enough to where I measured them every single day of prep.
Well, that's good. I mean, but if your body does fluctuate like that, and so that you're not in your head, it's good that you do measurements every day. You know what I mean? If one day your body looks great and the next day it doesn't, you're one of those people who do that. I think it's very smart. So then hey, this isn't in my head. Measurements don't lie. The tape measure doesn't lie. Like, my legs are shrinking. So I think that's just smart on your part to do that.
Well, what people have to realize is a lot of people like to think that they see people on stage and they think certain body parts are genetic. I posted on my social media a video. I don't post pictures of measurements because people can cheat with that shit in Photoshop and just zoom in on the fucking tape measure, which I think is bullshit. So I actually post a video. I show you the tape measure, show you my whole leg, and I measure it just to prove that is the exact measurement. And I threw up a video almost measuring my legs almost 32 inches, just to prove that's exactly what they were. And you can see they were drastically undersized at the USA. My legs are not a genetically strong body part. I've also posted the progression throughout my career of my legs, and my legs were 6 when I started. So they come off pretty goddamn easily. The only reason they're that big is because I trained my fucking ass off.
Right.
So I got to be very careful.
Exactly. But I think on the other end, though, like, your whole goal of this show is to come in really hard and conditioned. I think when you do come in hard and conditioned, if you do lose, an inch or two off your legs, I think personally this was your best look compared to being, if you did come in softer with, another inch or two on your legs. Could you add some inches to your legs? Yes, but your conditioning and you were just, in my estimation, this was the best look that you've had, and you were spot on. You were spot on. There was nothing. I don't think there's anything more that you could have done to bump your placings up, just because your conditioning was that good.
Yeah, well, like I said, I felt like I was at my best, but we always strive to improve, right?
Oh, of course, of course.
I know what I did wrong. I know what I did right, and I don't think that getting my muscle mass back and holding it is going to interfere with what I had figured out about my body to get lean as well. So I don't think that those two things are going to clash. So I should be able to get the muscle mass back and come in just as lean, or if not leaner, at the same time.
Right. Well, that's awesome, Phil. Well, hey, we appreciate you stopping to talk to us, and we'll definitely be talking to you amongst this prep. And, if you want to shoot over some videos or some progress pictures, we'll post those up. And you're just very entertaining. You're a great guy. You're great to follow because you do give out a lot of free information. So a lot of you guys need to follow him because, whether it be with like leg training or just different grips you use and things like that, you can always pick up something from you to learn, to help improve yourself as a bodybuilder as well. So we appreciate that, Phil, and thanks for coming on and talking with us.
All right, thank you for having me. I appreciate it, and I'll do my best, and let's see what happens.
All right, man. I'm looking forward to it. And this is Brent Swansen from Midwest Muscle Report here with Phil Viz. Have a great day, guys.